So basically, gut-brain axis is a two-way conversation which happens into our body. So basically, our gut communicates with the brain.
And why the scientists call it silent conversation happen inside us.
So it is a silent procedure, but it is taking place into your body. So that is why they term it as a silent conversation. A simple example, we take it. When exams are there, we are so stressed out during our exams. What happens? We have constipation during that time. We have bloating during that time. Acidity is there.
I have heard about vagus nerve, but exactly how this nerve act as a bridge between gut and brain?
So vagus nerve, if we take it as an example, it acts as a telephone wire between the gut and the brain. So whatever the message the gut has to send to the brain, it goes via the vagus nerve.
And what happened to this gut-brain dialogue if we take antibiotic?
A lot of people have a habit of just popping antibiotics. Like little something happens, what to do? Just eat antibiotics. So what does antibiotics do? They usually, kill the microorganisms into our body.
Why probiotic is more important for women than men?
This one condition is very, very commonly seen, which is the UTI, which is urinary tract infection. We have seen that when increased consumption of probiotics in women, it is found that it helps to, neutralize and, change its pH from acidic to alkaline. It has been found to be really beneficial. So during UTIs, doctors also suggest probiotics. We suggest foods like curd, buttermilk. So it's been really helpful for that.
Kushi, what is exactly gut-brain axis and why the scientists call it silent conversation happen inside us?
So basically, gut-brain axis is a two-way conversation which happens into our body. So basically, our gut communicates with the brain. So there is involvement of central nervous system, enteric nervous system. There are hormones involved in it. So it's basically a system. It works. And when it talk about the scientists, that they called it a silent conversation, because you don't actually feel it. There is some messaging going on between the brain and the gut. So it is a silent procedure, but it is taking place into your body. So that is why they term it as a silent conversation.
And how, a trillions of bacteria influence our stress, mental, and anxiety?
So before we move on to that, I want to just explain. So in our gut, there are a lot of bacteria. It is like trillions of bacteria that reside into our gut. But there are majorly two types of bacteria. One are good bacteria and bad bacteria. So there is always need to have a good balance between the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. So when there is a disbalance between the good bacteria and bad bacteria, there is a lot of symptoms like, constipation or gut-related issues which are seen. But as we are talking that the gut and the brain too are correlated, they are communicating with each other. So in the conditions like, stress or something like that, a simple example, we take it. When exams are there, we are so stressed out during our exams.
Yes,
What
exactly.
happens? We have constipation during that time. We have bloating during that time. Acidity is there. Right. So this is the way our gut is signaling, that, the communication is taking place. There is a disbalance between the, microorganisms that are there into the gut.
Kushi, is it true that gut bacteria, the
Yeah.
beneficial bacteria, produce serotonin, the neurotransmitter? It is true.
So it is true. So when we talk about serotonin specifically, 90% of the serotonin is produced into our gut. So serotonin is basically a happy hormone that we can say. So because it is produced into our gut, it is very much important that the microbes are aligned into our gut. So it might not directly affect into the bloodstream, but it does contribute to its symptoms of any kind like digestion or maybe sleep, stress, like that.
Does chronic stress affect the number of bacteria, or the number of bacteria affect the chronic stress?
Yeah, it does, because there is a interconnection between the gut microbiome and the stress. So it is, a lot of studies have also shown that during chronic stress and during anxiety or those conditions, the microbes, the bad bacteria ratio increases and the good bacteria decreases. So which might also create a lot of problems as well. And it is also been stated in the studies, some of the studies, that in future the doctors will also majorly focus on improving the gut health, especially in conditions like stress, anxiety, like that.
Kushi, I have heard about vagus nerve, but exactly how this nerve act as a bridge between gut and brain?
Okay, so the nerve that you are talking about is vagus nerve, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so vagus nerve, if we take it as an example, it acts as a telephone wire between the gut and the brain. So whatever the message the gut has to send to the brain, it goes via the vagus nerve, and like that. So this is how the vagus nerve acts as like a telephone wire for sending messages to the brain.
Kushi, is there any specific food that increase the communication between gut and brain?
So not in specific food, I would say, but a nutrient, specifically B12, because it helps with the myelin sheaths that are present with the vagus nerve. So as I explained, it helps with the communication. So if the B12 is very, engrossed nicely, then it would be really beneficial with the communication between the brain and the gut.
And what happened to this gut-brain dialogue if we take antibiotic drug?
Okay, so this
Medication.
is a really good question, I would say, because a lot of people have a habit of just popping antibiotics. Like little something happens, what to do? Just eat antibiotics. So what does antibiotics do? They usually, kill the microorganisms into our body,
Yes.
but they cannot identify between the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. So the bad bacteria is getting killed, but at the same time, the good ones are also getting killed. So that is why, think a lot before just, popping antibiotics, because it is killing your good bacteria as well.
Did you suggest like if a doctor prescribe antibiotic, he should also prescribe probiotic
Yes,
beside
definitely.
the antibiotic?
Yes, definitely. Because in certain conditions, and taking antibiotics is very important. So that is fine. You can, take antibiotics for that. But along with them, you can include your sources of probiotic as well as prebiotic, so that the proportion of good bacteria increases into our body.
Okay, Kushi, how can we feed the probiotic?
Okay. So there is a thing called prebiotics. So they are basically food for the probiotics, which are basically foods which are high in fiber. So any kinds of fruits, vegetables, or any kind of whole grains, they are good sources of fiber. So this prebiotics, when taken with the probiotic, it forms a combination known as symbiotic. So it serves as a food for the probiotic.
What is the connection or what is the relation between uh, like gut microbiome and sleep?
Okay.
Yeah.
So as we are also seeing that a lot of gut dysbiosis is happening nowadays, because the sleep schedule is also hindered in a lot of people, as we have seen. And when the microbes into your body are not aligned well, it also affects your neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine into your body. So which in turn affects your sleep quality also. And it is vice versa as well, because if your sleep schedule is also not aligned well, you are not sleeping well, or you are sleeping very late, or like that, it affects your gut, microbes as well. So it works both ways. So managing it is very important.
And is there any connection or link between gut inflammation and some disease like Alzheimer?
Yes, there is some studies which are still going on, but nothing has been, something which is truly said that this is the major cause. But inflammation is something which may trigger, conditions like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's disease. So it could be one of the reasons that we can say.
Did you think the hydration is affect the presence of the microbiome in the gut?
See, hydration is very much important in terms when you are talking about balanced diet. So when we are giving hydration is very, very important. So you can include at least 3 to 4 liters, as we are seeing it summers right now. So 3 to 4 liters is very, very important to keep in hydration. But not in specific to the microbiotes, but in general, because our body is 90% of water. So you basically need water for survival.
But why we need water for probiotic? What is the mechanism that make the water is important for the probiotic?
So basically, hydration is very much important. So when we talked about both prebiotic and probiotic, so water actually helps with fermentation of prebiotics. So it makes it easier to generate good bacteria into our gut.
Kushi, why probiotic is more important for women than men?
Okay. So in women, a lot of this one condition is very, very commonly seen, which is the UTI, which is urinary tract infection. So when we have seen that when increased consumption of probiotics in women, it is found that it helps to, neutralize and, change its pH from acidic to alkaline. So which has been found to, kill the pathogens into the bodies. It has been found to be really beneficial. So during UTIs, doctors also suggest probiotics. We suggest foods like curd, buttermilk. So it's been really helpful for that.
Very good. And why probiotic is important for our immunity?
Okay.
What is the link between probiotic and the human immunity, our body's immunity?
So probiotics play a very, very important role in terms of maintaining our immunity, because once the gut health is really intact, it helps to basically reduce inflammation into our body. It helps to fight with the infections and the antibodies that are coming through. So it really plays a role. So if your gut health is maintained and intact, it really helps with helps you prevent from any kind of disease conditions or infections specifically.
Okay. Kushi, as dietitian, can we use it gut-based, like microbiome, gut-based treatment for mental health? Or gut-based therapies for mental health?
Yes, definitely. Like as I explained in the whole podcast on how our gut health is related to your brain health. So a lot of I had just given a simple example of stress, but like in other conditions also, if your gut health is not in control, it will trigger your mental health. And in turn, when we, first thing if we are doing, let's just you know talk about the root cause first. Let's take into consideration the root cause. So let's improve our gut health, increase the good bacteria into our gut, so that it will help with the stress, anxiety, even sleep. It will be really beneficial.
Okay, Kushi, then we can consider our gut is a second brain.
Yes.
If we consider our gut as a second brain, which habits should we follow to make it better, make it healthy?
Okay. First and foremost, as we said, include prebiotics and probiotics into your diet. So even with my clients, when I give the diet chart, one important thing that I give is curd or buttermilk. That has to go, especially in lunch. So with lunch, I give also salad also. So prebiotic is also going, probiotic is also going. That is something very much important. Second, as we talked about hydration, very, very important. Also try to manage your schedule, have things planned accordingly, have a good timing. It's not like some days you are waking up at some time and some days you are just sleeping through the day, and like that you need to have a good sleep schedule as well. Also try to incorporate yoga or meditation into your lifestyle, which will help to calm yourself, soothe yourself, along with the probiotic and all that we are taking. So these are the some inputs that I would like everyone to have in their lifestyle.
Do you think the type of water that we drink in is very important?
the type of water that we drink. Yeah, it's very important. So basically, if you are taking plain water, that is definitely good. But then you can also include some things like lemon water, or maybe add some, mint leaves or something like that, or cucumber related water. You can add chia seeds into it. So you can have variations of it as well to, incorporate at least 3 to 3.5 liters a day.
And did you think the flavor of buttermilk, like some buttermilk is sweet and some buttermilk is sour, did you think it mean that they have a lot of bacteria, or is just flavor?
So usually what I recommend is to have it as something. First is the curd needs to be made at home. That is much much better than the one that are packaged available. Same goes for the buttermilk that you are taking. You can add some bit of salt to it for the taste, or a black pepper into it, little mint leaves for the taste. Sugar one, I would like to avoid the sweeter one, because why to add unnecessary sweet into your diet. But that you can add salt and all that too.
Kushi, I always hear about idli
Yeah.
as a fermented food and it
Yeah.
contain probiotic. How idli prepared? In which way and what it contain?
Okay. So idli is usually made from rice and urad dal. So it has been basically soaked for 8 to 9 hours first. Both of the grains are soaked, and once they are well soaked, then they are grinded, and the water has been removed, and then they are grinded basically. And after them, then the whatever the batter that is remaining, they add a little bit of salt into it, a little bit of baking soda or like that into it. And there's a special equipment that is available for the idli. It's basically a steamer, if you can say. Yeah. So once the batter is ready, what we do is we let it, ferment for some period of time, for 2-3 hours or something like that. And then we take an equipment which is like a steamer. Idli steamer is available. There are plates also there. So we add a little bit of oil into it and add the batter to the idli, those containers. And then we let it steam for, 5 to 10 minutes, like that. And once that is done, the idli is like ready. So there are a lot of the cooking methods, as we can see. Some of them like boiling or maybe frying or something like that, which have higher boiling point. So in those conditions, we are tend to reduce the nutrient content. But steaming is preferably a lot more healthier alternative that we can take, and there are less risk of destruction of nutrients.
Kushi, I'm very glad to have you today with me again to discuss this important topic that always the scientists and the dietitian
Yeah.
discuss it, because it is very, very important for the human life. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for inviting me again. It's always been pleasure working with you, and all the best.
You are always welcome, Kushi.